Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's video. Well, or welcome if you're new. Had quite a lot of new subscribers here recently. It's been so wonderful to see this community growing and people interacting in the comments. So lovely to get all of your feedback always as well. Very excited for today's video. So a couple of videos ago, you might remember that I made a video setting up my ultimate watercolor palette in here. Maybe I'll make sure to put a link to that video, otherwise find it on the channel. And so I thought that as an extension of that project, rather than just showing the palette once, I thought I might also go through some of my favorite mixtures. And this has obviously been a wonderful excuse for me to play around in my swatching book and see what mixes we can make. Some of these are really stunning. And I thought I might go ahead and highlight some of my favorite colors. So I'll keep this as reference, but so for today I wanted to highlight perylene violet. So this is the page that I made making a bunch of different mixtures with perylene violet, and I think this color is just absolutely stunning, and the Schmincke version I have on my palette is just amazing. And so I wanted to go through and have some fun doing some mixes with the rest of the colours on my palette today, so we can see what colours that we can achieve. Personally, I always enjoy watching swatching and mixing videos, so maybe you want to put this video on in the background while you work, or just read a book or do whatever you're doing today. So excited to share this with you. So as you can see, I've drawn up a little swatch sheet. I figured today we'd do something kind of interesting. I thought maybe it'd be nice to do a sheet like this for a lot of my mixes in my palette, so I thought we could put the colour in the middle and then do some mixes around the outside. Not 100% sure which mixes I'm going to choose yet, so that's part for us to discover together. And here is the palette. So as you can see, I filled some of the gaps, but it's sort of a temporary filling usually. But these are the colours that I have in my palette, and don't they just look so inspiring? Like whenever I look at this, I think, wow, I just can't wait to create with these colors. So I have my palette and I have my water, and I think I'm just going to mix on paper today. So that's kind of it. Let me know if, based on my ultimate palette video, if there's any colors you'd like to see the mixes of specifically, because maybe I will make this like a regular installation, because I really love making these color mixing videos for you. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. We're having interesting weather here today. It's not that hot. We just got over a heat wave, but the humidity is so high outside and it's a little stifling. So I'm happy to just sit down today and have a play around with some colours. So here is where perylene violet is located on my palette, slap bang in the middle. This is my only violet. I'm hesitating because I wasn't sure, but yes, it's my only violets on my palette for now. Might consider including dioxazine violet in the future, but for now, this is my Schmincke perylene violet, and it's my favourite perylene violet. I've tried a few, and I'm using my Vinci, camera will focus, Spin Synthetics #1 quill, my go-to swatching brush since the very beginning of this channel. So I'm just so excited to share this with you. It's the most beautiful plum purple. So vibrant, and the Schmincke one doesn't dull down when it dries. You know, with a lot of brands, the perylene colours really have like a drying shift where they turn a lot duller and less saturated when they dry, but the Schmincke one doesn't experience this. So I'm just going to like add some little water blooms and fade things out a little at the edges and see where that gets us. I'm using my very budget-friendly Clairefontaine goldline paper today. It's 100% cellulose, so I'm not expecting anything amazing from it, but it should be good enough for us to catalogue a little what mixes we can get with this colour. But this is just like my platonic ideal of a violet. It's super warm, super plum-like, almost like a Bordeaux kind of colour. And I just think it's absolutely perfect. So to start with, I think I'm going to choose the colour. My first colour I'm going to mix with is going to be autumn green. Now autumn green has been a real surprise to me when I've been mixing in my colour experiments, like in the book that I'm using as reference right now, because it's a colour mixture in and of itself. So it's a really, really beautiful green colour, but I've been amazed how well it mixes with other colours. Yeah. Oh, also I forgot to mention, we're going to be mixing on the paper today. I decided that I wanted to mess around to see what dynamic mixes we can come up with, just wet on the paper. So the other thing about the perylene violet is that it's a super strong colour, and it very quickly forms the most amazing sort of golden brown colour with the autumn green, which has a cobalt green in it and also a nickel azo yellow and another red pigment. But really, I think we'll see the magic of this more when it dries. Maybe I'll just pick up a little bit more of this, maybe just soak up a little bit of the moisture so we can see already the amazing pigment separation in this colour. Absolutely stunning. As usual, dealing with changing lighting conditions due to the weather, but yeah, as you can see, I wasn't expecting this colour to mix so well because it's a multi-pigment mix and a colour separating mix already, but I've been really stunned by how well the transparent components of this autumn green mix with other colours to form these sort of magical effects. Okay, so up next we have cobalt teal. So this is the Roman Schmal cobalt teal, PG50, and it's a little bit, it's their greener form of cobalt teal. They also have a cobalt sea blue, which I find equally stunning, but this is the one that made it into my ultimate palette for now. So yeah, this is just a really stunning, like, very green teal that never shows up quite so well on camera. Anyone else who's ever tried to photograph teal will probably relate with me on that one. It never really seems to hold out, but this perylene violet creates the most amazing sort of muted blue. That just looks so stunning on the paper. Oops, making a mess. Got distracted. So yeah, I really love this sort of cloudy blue, and it reminds me a little bit of the Roman Szmal Misty Morning, which is also a combination of cobalt pigments with transparent quinacridone pigments. That one is PV19, but this one is, yeah. So perylene violet is PV29. I didn't mention that before. Pigment violet 29, but it makes the most amazing soft granulating grey blue purple with the cobalt teal. Absolutely adoring how this autumn green mixture is drying already. But maybe we can go for something a little bit more transparent. So we can also mix with the transparent turquoise, aptly named. And this is a mixture between phthalo blue and phthalo green. The Roman Szmal transparent turquoise. They also have a single pigment phthalo turquoise, the PP16. This is an absolutely amazing colour too. Again, a bit greener in person, but I'm sure the mixture will come across just fine. I'm so easily distracted by that beautiful autumn green granulating in the background, but let's focus on this, our hero, for now. So it mixes to make this amazing dark, moody purple, and I really, really love how that you can get the range of tones from blues through to more of a violet within this mixture. And at the end, of course, once these are all dry, I'll make sure to include a picture or some footage of the close-ups of how these all dry down. As you can see, this is an absolutely stunning mixture. So next, a colour that I put into my palette sort of on a bit of a whim, but I've been finding really, really beautiful to mix with, is this transparent mummy red, or mummy transparent red. It's PR102. So it's this sort of an orange, like a burnt orange colour. And it's a little bit thirsty. Like it re-wets fine, but it needs a little bit more water than some of the other pigments to do so. It will really soak it up, but I think these earth pigments often do. So you can see it's this sort of vibrant but earthy orange. And as you can imagine, this creates some really interesting granulation as well. But it's a little bit low tinting, so you have to be a little bit careful how much of this perylene violet you add. Sorry for the camera shake. I'm sure it will settle down. So maybe I have to play with the ratios a little bit. I think I struggled on my testing. But it makes the most amazing earthy brown reds with the violet. I will just add a little bit more of the Mummy Transparent Red in there. Yeah, you can see. Wow. So cool. Absolutely love this colour. And it will dry really well, I think, as well, like with the granulation. And everything should dry really quickly today because it is warm in my kitchen, or I guess some people would call it a studio. It's a multi-purpose room. I do dream, like we all do, I think, of having a separate room where I can just have my art stuff there and constantly be, and not have to keep setting stuff up and putting it away whenever I want to use my space. But we're not quite there yet. Me, myself, and I. So yeah, we'll be patient though. So up next, I think I'm going to go for sort of the transparent version of this. Well, not really. I'm going to go for quinacridone gold, which is a mixture between PO48 and PY150. PO48, of course, discontinued sadly, but I do have a spare pan of this, so I've got enough to keep me going probably for a little while. And the Schmincke quinacridone gold, so this is a Roman Szmal quinacridone gold. The Schmincke quinacridone gold has actually always been made with PR101 and PY150, so I'm not concerned. I think that those mixes are just as beautiful, but this is an absolutely stunning colour. So let's see what we get when we add a little bit of this perylene violet. You don't really need very much to make a big change. The Schmincke perylene violet is very, very pigmented, very, very high tinting. The Schmincke paints in general, just amazing quality, amazing for tinting strength. And this is just makes it a little bit more earthy, a very sort of golden brown compared to the golden orange that it comes out. I could add a little bit more to that, but I also think it's quite interesting to just leave it as it is. And then we'll see where it goes. Got a few bubbles, but they'll disappear when it dries. I think I'd be amiss to not include one of my recent hero colours. There's also a video on this colour on my channel. I don't remember doing this mixture though, so hopefully it's not a repeat, and if so, well, we'll just get a different perspective on it. Just nudge this over a little bit so I've got some more space. This is nickel titanate yellow, PY53. So it's like a nice cool pastel yellow, a little bit like if a buff titanium was more yellow is how I would describe this. And this is the Schmincke version, which I have on my palette. My phone is getting very hot filming this. Perils of filming in summer. Wow. Oh, let's just enjoy that one for a second, shall we? Look at how that's moving together. Amazing. These mixtures are just, you could just sit here and watch it. It's very meditative. I've had a bit of a stressful week and I was sort of procrastinating filming this video, but I always knew it would be worth it in the end. This mixture is sort of a weird colour. I'd love to know your impressions of what you'd call it, because it's sort of a, I don't know, like a beige, but like a very pinky beige. It could even be like a, I guess, a certain type of skin tone, if you wanted it to be. Very sort of opaque and milky, but I think it will be interesting to see how it dries. And I think I need to mix it with a blue, so I'm going to mix it with this French ultramarine. So French ultramarine is one of my, well, ultramarine blue is possibly my favourite colour. Just looking at it makes me so happy. Like, I'm just mixing up in the palette right now. You can see I've hit the bottom of the pan. And just looking at the colour makes me so happy. But the way that it mixes with other colours, it just sparks joy. And I absolutely love looking at on camera as well. So stunning. I think I might do another video on warm blues. Somebody recommended that they would like a video on warm blues, like not just French ultramarine, of course, but like how to mix warm blues and how to, what mixes you can get with warm blues. But let's see, because it's a granulating colour, I think it creates really interesting mixtures. So I'll just pick up some of this perylene violet and we'll just dab it in and see what we get. All right, let's see. Okay, not quite the same dramatic effect we got it before. See a little bit better. Incredibly intense, dark mixture, sort of a true purple. A little bit on the muted side because the perylene violet is a little bit on the muted side. But I think that the granulation really brings out the best of both of these colours. You can see I've left a little bit more purple in the middle and a little bit more blue around the edges. So we'll see. how that goes. Might add a little bit of extra water in there, get a bloom going. Always looks good with granulating colours. But this is one way to mix. I've got so many ways to mix sort of a warm purple, a cool purple on my palette, which is why I've been actually hesitant to add the dioxazine violet, but I think I probably will in the end. It's always on my mind. Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, almost stuck my finger in it. But this, I think, will dry in the most amazing way. Look at these wonderful muted mixes we're getting. So what are we missing? What are we missing in the end? Maybe we want to get like a pastel mixture. I don't know if I'm trying to look at my mixes and to see if I did like another pastel mixture, but maybe I'll mix this Aquarius grey just off the screen here. I'll mix the Aquarius grey with the perylene violet and try to go heavy on the Aquarius grey. So Aquarius grey is PW6:1, like the titanium buff. It's a buff titanium effectively, but just like when they make buff titanium, they remove a lot of the iron impurities in it. And they're also, they do that to make titanium white as well. It just gradually gets cleaner and cleaner. So this is just a little bit more of a contaminated titanium buff, you could say. It's a very warm grey. And I think it will mix really interestingly with this purple. It already looks amazing on the paper, to be honest. Absolutely in love with this colour. Let's take a tiny dab of this. Tiny dab of the, oh wow. Oh, that's incredible. Stunning. I'll stop playing around. Let's just see. What do we get? Yeah, that's an amazing soft grey violet. You know, there are some stones that are this colour, for sure. I've seen them. This sort of violet grey. I think there's a Caran d'Ache Luminance coloured pencil called Violet Grey. I think it's not far off this. I should get that one because I love this colour. Absolutely amazing. We'll see if it separates a little bit more when it dries. Maybe I should add a little bit more of the perylene violet in like one spot like we did earlier. Just like a little, create a couple of little blooms just to see what it does when it dries. So with that, as you can see, we have our 8 mixtures with perylene violet here. I'll give you a little bit of a close-up while they're wet, so you can see the shininess of the paper, that they're still drying. Some of them more than others. So we will let these dry, and then I'll give you a close-up, and we can talk about the uses that we might think for these colours. Okay, so I'm back to look at the dried mixes. So the cellulose paper did cause the ultramarine to sit a little heavy on the paper. I should probably have used a little less pigment. But as you can see, the textures that we have here are incredible. This is with the cobalt teal. You can see how amazing that is. And also this wonderful warm rusty brown that we got with the PR102, the Mummy Transparent Red. And this is almost like an indigo. I think that perylene violet plus like a phthalo green would make a really interesting indigo. I just don't have phthalo green on my palette right now, so yeah, can't really test that one out in this video, but maybe another time. And then this autumn green has just really gone like from being really green to more into the sort of rusty yellow shades that you get sort of a bit further into autumn, I suppose. And the quinacridone gold is just stunning, honestly. These mixes are absolutely amazing. I think if you're with me on this, you can see why this colour has a permanent place on my palette as far as I'm concerned. Right in the middle where it belongs. I hope you enjoyed going on this exploration with me. If you want to see more colour mixing videos in the future, then please do like the video and subscribe, because it's super helpful and it really encourages me to come up with new content. Let me know in the description down below if there's anything you'd like to see with regards to colour mixing, whether you'd like to see more demonstrations, what format those would take, you know, anything fun that I might not have thought of to do with these colours. And yeah, that's it for today. So thank you so much. Share this video with a friend who loves this shade of violet as much as I do. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.